And welcome back. For decades, the Rehearsal Club has been a place where young women change their Broadway dreams. It's a boarding house filled with ambition, talent, and as it turns out, secrets. Our next guest wrote a book weaving the past and present, following a 12-year-old as she uncovers a mystery lingering since 1954. Here now is the author of the Rehearsal Club. We've got Kate Fodor with us. And Kate, thank you so much for being with us.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Thank you. Glad to have you. And so, when we talk about your rehearsal club, talk to me about the origins. Was it based on, real? Was it how did it come about?
Well, the book. So the Rehearsal Club has this really complicated history. It opened in 1914, 1917, something like that, long, long time ago. Um, and then it closed and moved and stayed open till the 1970s, and then sadly closed again. And then more recently, there's been a sort of modern incarnation that's more like apartments with mentorship and that sort of thing. So I knew somebody who was involved in putting together the sort of more recent incarnation of the Rehearsal Club. And that got me interested in the whole background story. Um, and I had a good friend who, this is my first book, but I had a good friend, Lori Petro, who's my co author, who was a novelist, is a novelist. And we just started talking about what an amazing atmosphere the Rehearsal Club would be for a book for young people, because it's full of all these, ambitious young women who want to make their way in the theater. And so we started thinking about a book sort of set in the 1950s in the Rehearsal Club, and then realized that the issue was that in the 1950s, all of the young women, from what we could tell from our research, who lived in the Rehearsal Club were pretty similar, sort of ethnically, in terms of income bracket, and we obviously wanted to write a more modern book with more different kinds of people in it. So we hit on the idea of writing a modern mystery where Pal, our main character, Paloma, who's 12, and her friends discover a mystery about the Rehearsal Club in the 1950s, so that the book can be set in a contemporary um, setting, so that we can, have the great um, diversity and hustle and bustle of modern New York City, but we sort of play with the history of the club as well.
Yeah. Give me a little bit about the real boarding house because we talk about this, a real boarding house for actresses, talk about the rehearsal club. So, what more can you tell us about this boarding house?
Well, it's had all these different incarnations. So when it first opened, to me, it's just this incredible place, because it was just a big brownstone where young women could come if they were new to the city. Some of them were 17, 18 years old, and they wanted to make it in the theater. At that point, it was actresses, really. The modern Rehearsal Club is really cool because it also invites women who want to be directors and choreographers and, things like that, writers. Um, but back then it was for actresses. But I think the reason that I find it so compelling, other than just the fact that it's really fun to think about all these young women sort of, living in this big house together, and getting up to hijinks, is that, if you think about 1917, it wasn't really a time where a lot of resources were being put towards helping young women who didn't necessarily want to be wives and mothers, at least not right away, to follow their dreams, right? Like, that wasn't a big societal focus. How do we encourage young women to do what they want to do in this world? And so just the existence of this place is so amazing to me, that resources and love and care and money and time were put into supporting these young women in this way. And then, of course, it evolved in various ways. And again, like, now it exists on a smaller scale in some sense in that it's at the moment serves fewer young women, but on a larger scale in another sense in that we are now acknowledging that the young women who might need the mentorship and support and a safe, cheap place to live and all of that sort of stuff might not just want to be actresses. They might want to be directors. They might want to be writers. And so our our sense of what these young women's dreams might be is expanding, which I think is great.
You know, one of the things that I've uncovered is that the book is recommended for fans who like are of Hamilton or pretty much drama. So, give me before we go, how does this like correlate in this space?
So I say that one more time.
So when we talk about the book, it's recommended for fans who like Hamilton and then also
Yeah.
drama. So I was saying, how do you feel the book correlates within the space?
Within the space of the rehearsal club
Yeah.
itself. Well, these are all young women, and in the modern story, not just girls, but who are dreaming big about working in the theater. And so I think our sense that, there is actually a scene in the modern part where all of the young women who live in the rehearsal club have a big Hamilton sing along, So I think it's really just it's about the idea that if you are a young person, the book. I mean, we want everyone to read the book, but it's specifically sort of for 9 to 12-year-olds, and if you are a person of that age whose heart is moved by Hamilton, by going to see a Broadway show, by being in your school show, all of those theater kid things, that you'll find that, or if you're a parent of one of those kids, that you'll find that spirit of love for the theater in the book.
Yeah. Well, Kate, where can people find the book? Let's tell them that.
You can find the book everywhere now. Here, I'm going to show it to you. I don't know if you. There it is. It's the Rehearsal Club. It's a beautiful cover. And the book is everywhere. As of yesterday, it's in bookstores. It's on all the internet sites for books, bookshop.org, all of those places.
Well, congratulations. I want to thank you for being with us and great work with the Rehearsal Club. And we got Kate Fodor here with us. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
All righty. We encourage our viewers. Now, listen, don't go anywhere. We got more open coming up. Talking about voting right after this.